So today we're going to be taking a look at the Endorphin's 6HP range. This is a range of 6HP smaller modules which are derived from their larger modules. So we have an oscillator which is a little bit like best bits of the further generator. We then have the Airstreamer and SQWK Dirty, which are kind of derived from the Grand Terminal module. SQWK Dirty is a digital filter, but it has 8 different filter modes. And the Airstreamer is an attack decay envelope generator with the ability to use it as an oscillator. So if we wind that up, we can loop as we would like a normal looping envelope, but we also have a key input, so we can it will actually track volt per octave. And then we have the Milky Way effects unit, which is both the effects from the Grand Terminal and the effects from the Black Noir. So we've got 16 different effects in here. So yeah, let's jump into some patches. We can have a look at the wave shapes that we're able to create with the Godspeed, and just generally kind of go through some of the features or the things that I really like about all of these modules. So let's just have a look at these waveforms from the Godspeed quickly. So first up we have this even and odd output. So you can see that's kind of in some way related to a sawtooth, maybe, kind of wavy sawtooth. As we start to shape round using the further knob here, start to bring in some of those odd harmonics. And then we end up with this kind of kinked square wave. You'll notice I've also got a cable patched into the sub output here. And that's because the sub output is always patched into the even and odd output. So if I remove that, then we actually get the sub in the even and odd output. And the Subwave is always a square wave. So moving on, let's look at this side/fold output. So we can take that here. So we start with this kind of kinked sine wave. Kind of got like a little dip in the top there. And then obviously we start to fold. All of the knobs do have a CV input here. But this is an attenuator once there's a CV input here, and that's kind of the way that most Endorphins kind of things work, as opposed to an offset, which is sometimes usually the way of working. It's kind of two different ways, but kind of doesn't really matter. And next we have this mood index, which is when there's nothing patched into FM input here, it's like self-FM, self-modulating FM. Which obviously yields some pretty wild results. Really quite nice. But let's just go back to the even and odd output. So there was one thing I forgot to mention. So we have obviously the sub in there, but we can also mix in white noise. If we hold the tune knob here, so that's quite nice. And obviously we do have this auto-tune feature, so if we hit this, it will automatically find the next A note, and then the light will light up purple when that routine is done. So moving on, let's go over to the Airstreamer. Just going to have a look at the wave shapes of this quickly. So we'll take the bipolar output here. You can see kind of a pretty effective wave shaping oscillator, and we can use the VCA as well, so we can get kind of triangles and then kind of different shapes as well. So yeah, useful. Not the most fully featured as an oscillator, but it does do a lot of other things as well. So yeah, that's the kind of wave shapes on these two modules. So let's have a look at this patch. So kind of doing this to demonstrate the filters. So we have a bit of delay here from the Milky Way. Turn that off. And this is a synced voice, so we've got soft sync square wave coming in. Kind of just to give you an idea of what the sync sounds like. We go into the hard sync. It's a really nice sounding sync. And obviously at the moment the Subwave is in this even odd output, so I can take that out. And then we're on the Moog style filter here. This one is resonant. Add a bit of that delay in. Got a drum machine here. We do have this high pass filter at any given time, so that's useful for cutting out low end, etc. And then we have this MS-20 12 dB kind of style filter. This one's not fully resonant or self-resonant. Next onto the low pass gate, which in this kind of sense is probably not going to make, in this patch it's not going to make too much sense. But if we reduce the frequency there, you can hear that kind of, you can hear it dying away slowly. So that kind of mimicking the natural decay of a low pass gate. And then we have this resonant low pass gate. Just a different kind of style of low pass filter if we're not using it in a kind of low pass gate way, but obviously it is reducing the volume as we take the frequency down as well, as a normal low pass gate would do. Next we have this kind of DJ isolator style filter, so high pass to the right, low pass to the left with resonance. It's a good sounding filter. And then we have band pass. And then high pass, resonant high pass. And then we have finally this comb filter. So it's not the kind of, you don't usually see comb filters around, so it's quite interesting to see that. Nice when you put a LFO in here, we can then get some of those kind of phasey, kind of flangey type effects, which is really kind of nice with the comb filter. So let's just have a look at this meta patch that I've made. So I've used the meta mode on both SQWK Dirty and the Milky Way, and we have two voices. One is the Airstreamer, the other is the Godspeed, and we have a kick drum from the Godspeed as well. So first of all, let's listen to the meta voices. So this is both the two main outputs from the Godspeed. They're going into the filter and then out of the filter into the effects. And then we have external sequences coming in to cycle through the different effects that you can see up here. So I can hold a step on my sequence and then adjust, say, the effects. Obviously, we have VCA over both the two voices. That's using an external envelope. We also have some FM coming in, so that's the Airstreamer that's coming into the FM input here. So now I'll show you what I've done with the Subwave. So now I've taken the Subwave and I've processed that through a low-pass gate to give us a kind of kick drum. And I have a pitch envelope that's happening at the same time as the kick drum that's giving us that thump. But it also means you can do stuff like this, which is useful when you want to then drop in some drums. So I have a drum machine coming in here, obviously. And then we have this Airstreamer voice. So this is the Airstreamer voice. So that's got a separate sequence, obviously, to the Milky Way and the Godspeed. And the kick drum is actually coming in as a sidechain input as well. You can hear a bit of vibrato on that Airstreamer voice. That's because I've mixed an LFO with the sequence that's coming into the key input here. So just a touch of that has allowed me to get that kind of vibrato sounds. So you can hear how I can adjust these to change the wave shape of that. So yeah, quite nice. Anyway, let's bring some more stuff back in. So overall then, what do we get? Every single one of these modules has a lot of features in 6HP. So if you're kind of just starting out or you've got a 6HP gap in your rack, any one of these would give you a lot of possibilities within 6HP. The oscillator in particular is very kind of wide ranging. You can go from really quite kind of simple sounding waves to very complex sounding waves. Internal FM, and the tuner is a really nice feature as well. I would have liked to seen a couple of kind of maybe a couple of different filter types in the SQWK Dirty. I think there's a bit of crossover between some of the low pass gates and the low pass filters, and then also the DJ isolator filter and the high pass and the low and the band pass. So it would have been nice maybe to see a little bit of a few kind of extra ones. I really like the comb filter in here, and I think if there was maybe a couple or maybe even just one extra filter type that was slightly different to the kind of norms, if you will, it would make this much more exciting. So yeah, overall I think price wise they're pretty good. I think the Godspeed is the most expensive. I think that's around 225, and then the cheapest is 145, I think, which is the Airstreamer. And these two I think are 169, 179, something around that. So yeah, overall price is good. You get a lot of features in 6HP, and they sound good. So yeah, go out and buy them if you're looking to fill a 6HP hole, or if you're just starting out and you want something that's quite flexible.